Singapore is in a very unique and special situation because I don't think anywhere in the world you will find a city-state which has a primary rainforest in the middle of the city, and then you have wild wetlands where you can actually watch crocodiles in the wild.
Singapore's greening visions have gone through from being a garden city to city in the garden and biophilia. And what that means is the urban environment got greener and more conducive to the bolder species. And we can expect to see more of it as time goes on because we've embraced the next vision, which is a city in nature.
As Singapore grows into a city in a nature concept, we have more and more park connectors. Wild animals are forced to use the park connectors to move about. It's no longer just a big patch of forest. In between we have developments, highways, expressways, so that's when we also encounter them. We receive about 40 to 50 calls a day. 2021, it was 1,750 calls for 1 month. Most often people call us for injured wild animals, but people also call us when there is a displaced wild animal, like a snake in the house or a monkey entering people's homes. So not often every case requires rescue.
When animals are interacting with us in our urban spaces, because they're using things like space or terrain or fruits that they are feeding on. But once food becomes available, some animals will completely stop and they adapt to it. So they'll hang around instead of moving away, or they become less afraid of people. So then that's not a very good sign because accidents can happen. Also, we are interrupting their normal lives. So transient animals especially, instead of carrying on and finding another forest fragment, they hang around. That's why there was a concerted effort to upgrade the Wildlife Act. NParks fined a whole bunch of them for feeding wild pigs recently, and that advertised the message to the society that it's a serious thing.
There is some resistance when it comes to people who have been living in a place for a long time. Then they have to change the way they used to do things before. It could be simple things like how they have closed their dustbin, and then we're asking them to add an additional measure to make sure that the macaques cannot open the bin. So it requires discipline and also change in the behavior. It just takes one resident not to follow, and the whole estate will have a not so pleasant experience with wildlife sightings.
They are going to have to adapt to this changing pattern. So what will help will be education, going on nature trips. We are all ramping this up, both government and NGOs and schools as well. And then hopefully in reconnecting with nature, they actually all feel happier.
If we practice wildlife etiquette, like if you see a wild animal, don't feed the animal, don't approach unnecessarily, keep a distance, respect the distance and appreciate from the distance, we can actually avoid a lot of problems. These animals are not wanting to be aggressive to us. If they feel threatened, they will be defensive.
Since we've arrived at the city in nature, and there's a whole number of opportunities that now emerge, the way to contribute can be simply to enjoy the space. Or you might want to volunteer, and there are many opportunities. Now if you go to the NParks webpage, they'll ask you which is your home district. So you find that you'll be able to do tree planting, you might be able to monitor birds or bees in a space that's quite close to you.
People can visit our website, which is acres.org.sg. We do have our advisories there for different groups of animals. Everyone needs to play a role. Even clearing our own leftover food at a coffee shop. Then pigeons and miners won't come and eat, and then they won't breed more, they won't get cowed. It cannot be just one person being wildlife friendly in an estate and it's solved. It actually doesn't work like that.
Is really about not just building nature but building communities, and this will be the challenge that we all face to enhance in the decade ahead of us.